Aloha to all of you who are joining us. I'm Michael Bruno, Provost at UH Manoa, and welcome to the fourth in our series of webinars. I do want to also note that we are in just about finishing our third week of instruction at UH Manoa, and I want to thank the faculty, the staff, and the students for hanging in there, for persevering. We're still having success. We're delivering instruction, and we are keeping the campus safe, our employees and our students. Our cases are very low, and we're doing everything possible to make sure that they remain low. So to the webinar series, this is what we call the UH Community Conversation Series, in which we hold informative conversations with our own University of Hawaii at Manoa community leaders. Our goal is to share relevant and valuable knowledge with our UH community through the trusted voices of UH experts. And one of those voices is with us today, David Matlin. Our goal in this conversation, as well as all of these, is to inform and inspire our students, our alumni, our donors, and really the broader members, the members of our broader UH community. So without any further delay, let me introduce our guest of the day. Dave Matlin was hired as the 23rd Director of Athletics at UH Manoa back in the spring of 2015. I have to say with pride that Dave holds an MBA from UH Manoa's Scheidler College of Business. Before his tenure as AD, Dave was a local business leader with more than 20 years of sports management experience, including 13 years here in Hawaii with ESPN and 7 managing the Hawaii Bowl football game and the Diamond Head Classic basketball tournament. That experience allowed him to build relationships with NCAA conferences, athletic directors, and national organizations, including the Football Bowl Association, where he was one of 9 members on the executive committee. This is Dave's second stint in the UH Athletics Department. He served 5 years. I won't say which years. It's quite a long time ago, Dave. As an information officer, primarily working with the ticket office, while also enrolled in Scheidler MBA program. Dave graduated from the University of Michigan and is married to his wife, Dana, and they have 2 children, Kisa and Ross. And without further ado, welcome, Dave.
Well, aloha, Provost Bruno, and thanks for the opportunity to talk story with you, our fans and stakeholders. It's a real great opportunity, and I am a proud Scheidler alum. That was a kind of a transformational opportunity for me, not to learn to learn tools and get more education, but also just to network and meet a lot of people and learn more about the university. So it's been invaluable. It's great to do this Zoom, and I look forward to doing more of these things, hopefully in person, as we get to the other side of this. I know for everyone, these are incredibly tough times for so many in our community and country. Athletics' goal during these times is to make an impact via our student athletes and our coaches. We feel via social media we can engage people to continue to inspire the youth of our community and our community in general. So in short, we're here to serve, and we welcome ideas on how we can best represent our great University of Hawaii as well as the great state of Hawaii.
Thanks, Dave. We have a number of things that you and I wanted to discuss. And the way we'll do this is really as a discussion like you and I often engage in on our own. One of the things I've always admired about you and your management style is your belief in core values for an organization and the importance of adhering to those core values, sticking to those values, no matter what is swirling around us. And certainly those values are being tested like never before right now. So maybe you can tell our viewers a little bit about COVID-19, the challenges presented, and how those core values are pulling you and your team through this.
Yeah, well, when this first started, I mean, I remember being on the plane on March 11th, coming back from the Big West basketball tournament when the NCAA tournament was canceled, and gosh, that was March 11th. It's feels in some ways like 10 years ago. COVID time is interesting. But when I got together with the team, we really focused on what are our core values that we're going to focus on, especially during this time, and make sure it's in line with the university. So we really just came up with two things. I believe in kind of keeping it simple. Health and safety for our student athletes, staff, and community. That's fans, stakeholders, the university community. And then really to focus on the educational mission for our student athletes and also keeping our staff working productively. So we just kept it to those two things. Obviously, there's so much more. Finances are important to achieve these core values 1 and 2. So it's imperative we steward our resources and be creative as we look to operate even more efficiently and really relook at our model as we move forward to just get better.
Yeah, thank you. I know a lot of people on the call will want to hear straight from you about the status of the fall season. In particular, a lot of people are thinking football. Tonight is the first game in professional football. We don't have college football in our conference and most other conferences in the nation. So maybe you can tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, so on focusing on football, obviously football is postponed. The Mountain West determined that right after the MAC from the Midwest Athletic Conference postponed, and then the Pac-12 and the Big Ten followed shortly thereafter. I support the decision 100% for health and safety reasons. I know this last weekend, Labor Day weekend, we were supposed to open up with UCLA, so I can't say I wasn't kind of sad because we've never had UCLA play it again. I was excited about it. Play here against University of Hawaii. I was excited about that game. We were on a 2-game Pac-12 winning streak from last year, non-conference games, so I felt Coach Graham and the team was ready, would have been ready. But we control what we can control, and so right now the Mountain West ADs are collaborating to look at models for the spring, and what that involves, and when we start, what the protocols are, when we have to finish, so we can have a 21 season that's not impacted. I feel one of the most important things is not to compromise the 21 season. I mean, this year is going to be a little bit of an asterisk. We want to be able to provide opportunities for our student athletes, but we don't want to infringe on 21 or compromise them in any health and safety manner. Our medical advisors, student athletes, and coaches are on a lot of these Mountain West calls, so we're getting input from everybody. That's critical. We have frequent calls with the ADs, usually about 2 a week, and then a lot of ad hoc meetings that we set up. So we're not doing this in a vacuum. Right now I can say we have no definite model, but I think we all have a sincere desire to play in the spring if we can do it in a health and safety manner. And I want to reiterate that we don't want to compromise the 21 season. We don't want this to bleed over to a second season. I think that's probably a priority. That's where football is right now.
Yeah, I should have, when we started, given a shout out to you and a lot of the members of your team for your work, not only towards the support of the health and safety of your student athletes, but also all of our employees and students. You had several staff members serving on our committees as we worked through the summer preparing the campus for the fall, including especially on the health and wellness team. And, we have been in such close contact, often daily, discussing that the health and wellness aspects of the campus, and you and your team played an important role in that. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. It was great for us to be engaged in it. We learned a lot, and also we were ahead of the game in some places because people came earlier, so we could also be an example of some best practices and things that we can modify and make better. So I think that was a great opportunity for us.
Yeah, thank you. It definitely was a two-way. There were two-way benefits going on there. So maybe in light of that in particular, maybe you can tell our viewers what your student athletes and your coaches are doing right now?
Well, all of them right now are laser focused on academics. The one thing is they have more time than they're used to. These are very high achieving, busy people. We'll get more to the academic stuff later. There's been a lot of success, but I have great appreciation for the job our academic advisors are doing, led by Ron Canberra and Courtney Suimoto from that segment of our department, and really from the campus. And we'll cover that a little more later. So they're focused on that. Right now, football is doing socially distanced strength and conditioning that is approved by our medical team. We have our doctor, our head trainer, our associate ADs. We meet at a minimum weekly, but we talk daily about many different protocols and situations. And also men's basketball, women's basketball are doing a modified practice, which is really no contact. It's just a lot of skill, working on skills. These protocols, originally what we asked the coaches to create protocols that then they get vetted by our medical team. And we don't do it in a vacuum. We huddle with a lot of different institutions and organizations. Almost daily, someone on our department is on a Zoom call with, whether it be the Lead One organization, which is all the FBS schools, the NCAA, our conference. There's a lot of education out there. So we're trying to glom onto that and learn as much as we can. Just learn best practices. Want to give the shout out to our medical team, which is led by Dr. John Slacky, and head athletic trainer Lynn Nakagawa, who's serving on the committees you mentioned, some of the committees you mentioned, and their whole training staff, as well as Tommy Heffernan, our strength and conditioning. These people have been doing incredible work. It's really a 24/7. Doc Slacky reports to Andy Nichols, and that department is led by Vice Chancellor Dr. Lori Adetta. And really can't, the support that we've gotten from that team, Dr. Idetta and Dr. Nichols, really has been amazing, I guess is the word I think of, and just some great collaboration. And it has not been easy, but we learn every day, and our goal is just to get a little better each day.
Yeah. Well, like I said in my introduction, we've had a low case count on campus. A lot. I would say a lot of that is because of the collaborations that you just described. So, thank you, and a shout out to those folks if they are watching. Maybe they're watching. You want to say anything about the complexities that are presenting themselves with regards to your budget these days? We know it's a tough environment for everybody.
Yeah, no question. That. Everyone's facing tough financial challenges in our city, our county, our state, our country, frankly, the world. So we know we're not alone in that. And all collegiate athletes is feeling it. But as Rainbow Wahine Warriors, we're used to being scrappy, and getting things and getting the most out of our talent and what the resources we have. So we're going to scrap with every nickel that we have to get the most impact out of it. And frankly, we compete pretty well. I mean, we're compared to budget-wise, compared to a lot of the Power Fives when we play them. We're half the budget of them, but we beat them regularly. And so I really feel, this is just another opportunity for us to relook at ourselves, how we can do better, how we can be better, even better stewards of our resources, because there's always opportunities. But it is challenging. And I'm thankful for the staff I have. Our associate ADs, we meet every week, and I have an executive team that meets every other week. And a lot what we talk about after health and safety is, how can we best, what steps can we best make forward from a financial perspective?
Yeah, thank you for that. I think we're going to get into other questions along those lines too during the call. I want to switch gears to a topic that is near and dear to both of us. We recognize, and I hope that everyone on the call recognizes, that these are student athletes, and they are students first, and the way that we have approached their everything from their course schedule to their practice schedule, and the mentoring and advising that goes on down by you and in your shop, it's all aimed at making sure that they have academic success. And I think you have some slides maybe you want to show.
Yeah, I'll try to put those up. Let me. Having a little problem here. We'll figure it out.
I know you've done this before.
Yeah, I have. It's just it's the file crashed on me, so I got to reopen it. Murphy's Law. So here we go.
All right, great.
Yeah, let me get the presentation on. So can you guys see that?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, great. So as you mentioned, they are student athletes. And we have to be mindful of that, and that's really the number one priority of is providing an education. I think athletics provides a great opportunity for a lot of people, a lot of first generation people getting a college degree, and that's something we're very proud of and something we have to steward, effectively. This is, like I said, our athletic progress rate. It's a testament to Dr. Ron Canberra, Courtney Suimoto, and all of our academic advisors, as well as a lot of our staff at the department. Also, we really owe a thank you to Hugh Yoshida, who originally set up our academic system with Dr. Canberra back in the 90s, which really took it out of athletics and put it with the faculty. So the faculty support is incredible for this, and we without it, we would not be nearly as successful as we've been. So I appreciate that very much. And at the end of the day, our coaches play a critical part. And that's one thing Dr. Canberra often says, that this success is a partnership. The coaches are making it a priority and also recruiting great young men and women that want this education. So the first slide I'll go through is a lot of information here, but what it says is last year, academic progress rate is an NCAA metric that measures retention and retaining students and moving towards your degree. 984 was the best year we've ever had. It bested our previous best the year before, which was 981. 11 of our 18 teams received perfect scores, which is 1,000. Very proud of our men's basketball. The dramatic improvement our men's basketball team had since Coach Ganot's gotten here. When we started, we were about 1 point away from going on probation, where you couldn't play in postseason. I believe they got 1,000 last year, which was phenomenal. Also, our Wahine tennis program, they had six perfect scores out of 7 years, and you can see across the board, you have 11 women's sports that have had great scores. Just a lot of success in that area and big improvement. As far as some academic metrics, in the fall, which was not compromised by COVID at all, we had 295 scholar athletes, which is about 63% of our student athletes earned a GPA of over 3.0. Our fall GPA was 3.08, and our fall cumulative was a new record at 3.13. The cumulative GPA, we've set a record. I'm not sure if it's how many semesters in a row, but I want to say 8 maybe, or 10. It's hard to keep setting records as you keep going up, but just some outstanding work done by our student athletes and our academic team and coaches. And you can see 40 earned 4.0s for the semester. Going to the spring, obviously the spring impact was a little bit different because we had more pass fails, so the calculation on grades was a little different. So I would acknowledge that the grades might be a little inflated, but when we looked at it, so you can see our semester GPA is 3.42 because of the pass fail options, our cumulative 3.25, which is outstanding. But when we looked at it, our even if you just calculated the grades that they would have gotten without that, we would have still done better than the previous semester. So we were still on track, doing really well. Our kids and academic staff and the faculty adjusted to the online paradigm. We learned a lot. Frankly, I'm excited about that because that's going to make us better. when we go forward with our teams traveling. We have new tools in our chest right now where we can do a better job academically when our kids travel. I mean, certain programs like our tennis team, they travel a lot. We're trying to minimize that travel, but now we have some new tools and we can do a better job with that. As you can also see, 68 of our student athletes achieved a perfect 4.0. So very proud of them. But really, in summary, that's all the metrics I have right now. We're very proud of our student athletes and the entire partnership with the academic, the faculty, Dr. Camber, Courtney Suimoto, and just thankful that Hugh Yoshida and Dr. Camber back in the 90s kind of saw this vision, how to put this model together. And every year, the team there is innovating and improving things. And it truly is a partnership between, athletics, the faculty, and of course, the most important part, the student athletes.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. A lot of information there and all very positive as these athletes in their primary role as students. So thank you for that. You mentioned partnerships. I want to talk about a program that you and I rolled out a few years ago that's had some really extraordinary success from the start. Everything obviously is kind of on hold in this COVID-19 era, but the faculty mentor program where we went out to the faculty to seek volunteers, serve as mentors to the teams. Why don't you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, Dr. Bruno, I think you had that at a previous school you were at. And I remember we were talking about it and you said this would be a great idea to do. And I know I and Dr. Camber got together to try to visualize what it would be. I know I want to say it was about a year and a half ago, we had like orientation for them. And we went over what the goals were. And, we've had some real success for it. They're engaged. A lot of faculty jumped on the opportunity to engage with our student athletes and coaches, be a mentor. Not for an athletic mentor, but, just on personal development, academics, and supporting our student athletes. We continue to learn how we can innovate and do a better job at it. Unfortunately, we've had a little bit of a pause now, and that this is a good reminder for me to focus on what we can do during these times to still keep engagement going. So that's something I'll bring up, but appreciate, your efforts on that. And frankly, for all of our faculty members who volunteered for that, it's been impactful. And I know we're going to get better each year as we do it because we're learning as we go.
Yeah, and talk about learning. I hear from several of those faculty about how much they are learning about the challenges that the student athletes experience, in juggling, and not really even juggling, but budgeting their time so that they can perform at a high level in both their studies and their sport. I remember a funny moment when one of the mentors said things are going great, and I think I'll have a pizza gathering, and you were, I think it was you, was right away, no, that would be against NCAA rules.
Yeah, we had to vet that. The good thing, the rules keep changing. So we have to be careful about, mindful of that. So we loop in our compliance office and all that, but, appreciate the support and really, as you mentioned, our student athletes, these are high achieving, busy people. And I look at athletics as it's an academic pursuit in a way also, where you learn about leadership, teamwork, things that can be very valuable to future employers and frankly our society and community. So our coaches are educators. I mean, they are, and being around faculty can help them get more tools to even do a better job at it.
Yeah, and that's come across very, very clearly when we've had the coaches come in with the faculty and talk a bit about what they see as the challenges for their student athletes, and the faculty asking questions, and it's been very invigorating, those conversations. Yeah, we will look to keep that going even during these times. So maybe you can share some of the good news that has come out. You reported a bit to the Board of Regents. committee last week, and maybe you can share some of the good news.
Yeah, well, I think it's important. I mean, right now, the headlines aren't the most encouraging thing on a day-to-day basis. There is some exciting, encouraging stuff going on, even in the business part of the university, besides our academics, which are great news. We just signed a new TV deal with Spectrum. It's the most comprehensive local deal in the country. We're excited that we're adding women's water polo as a mandatory thing they have to cover. Before, there was just really covering 5 sports, and they do some other things, but that just depends on timing. But now, women Wahine water polo will be part of the portfolio of what they cover. The deal is, it's a 5-year, $15.5 million deal. Over the 5 years, its average is about 3.1 million, with some upside potential also, some rev share possibilities, and that's about 650,000 more than the previous 5-year deal we had. In addition, at the December Mountain West meetings, President Lassner and I worked in collaboration with the Mountain West Conference CEOs and athletic directors to enable us to receive, for the first time, a prorated portion of the Mountain West TV rights fee. An established formula has been created, so we really can't determine it yet right now because it's still kind of work in progress. But like I said, this is the first time that we're receiving money from that TV deal. So in addition to the deal we have with Spectrum, we have flexibility to be part of this in a smaller portion, but in a meaningful manner.
Yeah.
Besides TV, the Waterhouse Foundation has been very supportive of our Nicole and football program. Frankly, have helped us to be able to do our summer school education program for them and provide some things that the department has not been able to afford, which has been meaningful in helping us compete. During these tough times, we it was a pretty humbling and a little emotional when they basically usually give us about $800,000. They gave us 1.3 million this year because they knew we had some COVID related costs. They knew we needed help. It was the amount was great, but the heart with it and the hopeful message with it was even more impressive. And then we have the Hayashi Foundation, which Kimo Kai's done a good job working with, where they donated a significant portion for mental health initiatives for our student athletes, an area that we've been trying to ramp up and do a better job in. We were able, because of their grant, purchase this it's called Talkspace app, and it's an app that every student athlete will be paired with a mental health care professional. Which is pretty incredible. We also have the university's resources too, but this is in addition to that, because sometimes at certain times there's a lot of needs. So this is excited, and frankly the Hayashi Foundation has enabled this to happen, and Kimo's efforts and the foundation's efforts to make this happen have been meaningful, as well as my executive team and people in the department have helping facilitate that. So those are some good positive stories besides the academic ones that we shared.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and hats off to the foundation. UH Foundation has really done a great job working closely with you and supporting the program. There was an announcement recently about a blue ribbon committee, what we would call a town gown committee, composed about roughly half folks from the university, including you and me, and folks from the external community. Do you want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, there's some university folks on it, as well as business leaders, some former student athletes. Coach Laura Beeman's on it. We have a coach, like I said, a former student athlete. So I'm excited about the opportunity to get some strategic thinkers in the room. Appreciate you being part of it. I know you have a busy schedule, so I know this is another thing on your plate, but appreciate it. Yeah. And I appreciate the willingness of the group. I mean, everyone we called, stepped up and said they would serve. I know we're going to learn a lot from it. And, also since then, I've had a few schools. I just did a Zoom earlier with another school who was asking us about what we're doing, because other schools are thinking about doing it also. So, the good thing about my colleagues in especially the athletic directors in the conference we're in, we're not keeping secrets now. We're collaborating better than we've ever done it before, because we know we need to help each other to get through this together. That's true in our conference. That's true at our university. We need to work together. That's true in our state. that it really is time to really collaborate. So I'm excited about that program. We haven't had our first meeting. Our first meeting, I think, will probably be hopefully next week, and we'll come up with some recommendations.
Great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the work. It's really important. It's important to the faculty and staff, and we know how important it is to the external community and our alums. So in line with that and the real need to make sure that the program is strongly supported and that we can support the health and the wellness of the student athletes, you guys launched a new initiative called Bring Back the Game. You had I imagine what you thought was a stretch goal of $250,000. You're inching closer to that. Last I read was something around 175,000 has been raised. And the goal here is to fund scholarships as well as important health and wellness initiatives, including safeguards that you guys have in mind for your facilities to keep the students safe and keep them well. Do you want to say a little bit about that initiative?
Yeah, well, we're very thankful. As I mentioned before, Chemo's been a point person for us, as well as the foundation, as well as our external team led by Vince Baltimore, and a lot of obviously it takes a village to get this stuff done. Yeah. But the initiative was really to help fund some scholarships, because money's challenging, but also to help with COVID related costs, whether it be testing, mandated testing we need to do, some retrofits we have to do to some facilities to make them safe, educational opportunities maybe with that. So like I said, we're at 175,000 and we're well towards our $250,000 goal, and I'm excited about that, and that's just another hopeful message for our student athletes, as well as our team, the support we get from this community.
Thank you. So we have time to go to some of the questions that were submitted by some of the registrants. So how about we do that?
Sure.
All right. So here's an easy one. Is there a minimum number of sports required by the NCAA in order for us to be in Division I?
Yes. Currently, that number is 16. The nuance to that is when you're in a conference, there are certain sports that are mandatory. So, and you also have to factor in Title IX. So like I said, the NCAA to be Division I is 16 if you're FBS football. And but you also have to be mindful of your conference commitments for that too. And we're in two conferences, as most people know, the Mountain West as well as the Big West Conference for other sports.
Yeah. Another question that came up was, how are you guys handling the season ticket situation for football as well as other sports?
Yeah, good question. We've offered, for the sports that have been postponed, which is women's volleyball that are ticketed and football, we've offered all of our season ticket holders 3 options. They can keep the amount, for the 2021 season. They can make a donation, or they can get a refund. And what we've done is, and we're also going to guarantee anyone who had season tickets in 2019 will be able to get their 21 same seat as we get through this. So this year, as we know, the seasons are going to be limited, the games, and we're not sure how many fans will be after the game based on social distancing protocols at the time. We're just going to go more individual tickets. We're working on how we can still accommodate our season ticket holders and fans to do that in the most equitable fashion. It's not going to be perfect, but we felt it's important to give them the options and to give them the option back in 21 to get their same seat. And then we'll see what happens with the seasons in the spring, and we'll adjust accordingly. Okay.
Yeah, we're looking forward to renewing our season subscriptions in the spring, so we'll keep talking. Obviously, one person who's on the call is looking for the silver lining in all this, and that person asked, are there any opportunities that you have seen come our way as a result of COVID-19?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Every challenge we know brings opportunities. In the end, every collegiate program is dealing with financial challenges right now. We're no different than anybody else. Most Power Five programs, cash shortages in the range of 50 to 100 million. Most Group of Fives are between 10 and 25 million. But our opportunity lies within our people and the people of Hawaii. That's going to be the difference maker for us. We know we're going to have to make do with less, but less doesn't mean we will necessarily have to provide less of an impact or compete even less. It really doesn't. It's really how we use what we have and how we steward our resources to get to the best place possible. And it's really about relying on your people, because at the end of the day, one thing my father always taught me, business is about people. Everything else is just fluff, he would say, to some extent. So, and I believe in our people, and frankly, in this community, to support us and to encourage us. And we have some incredible student athletes who are very resilient. And just like we have some incredible students on campus that are very resilient and have handled this, I know you're very proud. We're very proud just seeing how people have adjusted to this. Yeah. So yeah, I think the opportunity is in a comparative stance, we can come out on this in a better stance, because I remember I said we're scrappy. We're good with dealing with less. So I think we have a competitive advantage for doing that. I also think new opportunities are going to come because of COVID, some new revenue opportunities as we have the changing dynamic as we get to the other side. I kind of stopped saying new normal after talking to some people. I think it's got to be more how it's going to be when we get when we get to the next steps. So I'm excited about that. But you wouldn't be candid if I didn't say it's tiring, and sometimes it's a little overwhelming, but that's when we got great people around us to pick us up. That's the great thing about team sports. We're a team, the whole university and even the state, and we can pick each other up when we get a little down.
Yeah, well said. I feel strongly the same way. Several people wrote in various ways the same question: how can people out in the community help the athletic department right now?
Well, I think believe it or not, a great way to help us is encouraging our student athletes. Just encouragement. It matters. I mean, and to be an advocate. Speak about the benefits of having a Division I collegiate program in the state of Hawaii, the only program we have. I think use your sphere of influence to message that story. And if you want some data or some materials of the value of having a Division I program, we're happy to supply that. Obviously, there's buy season tickets. Come to our events, watch our games on TV and our radio rights holders, support our sponsors, which many of them during tough times have stuck with us, which is humbling. And I'll also you always got to take an opportunity. Philanthropic donations are very needed at this time. So if you're able, anything that you give us makes an impact. And our guarantee is that we're going to steward it to the best of our ability to make a difference for our student athletes, the university, and our community.
Yeah, I know you do. You and I have talked about the fact that when we talk to prospective hires at the university, faculty, executives, I often find myself reminding them or explaining to them that we are the only game in town. And I mean that in all aspects of what we do, but when it comes to athletics, we're it. There's no professional team here, and we know that our community comes out to support our various teams in the fall, the winter, and the spring, and that I know that makes us all feel really good about that connection.
Yeah, there's on that. We're launching, our external team and our digital team is launching a new initiative called Bows Together. It's going to be a comprehensive thing, and just saying that we're all in this together because we know that we can inspire. If you can inspire a young kid to go to college or go to school, get a better education, that's worthy. that's worthy of what we can do. We can provide opportunities like that. So you should look online. We have a new Bows Together logo. We're using it with a lot of digital pieces that are coming out. Heck, they even got me to do a cooking video. My wife Dana laughs about that because my culinary skills are not top notch, but I do have one go-to barbecue dish. So I also thank my son Ross for doing the video work and editing that too. But there are a lot of different initiatives, and our student athletes are so engaged in that, having a talk with your fellow student athletes, doing some really cool stuff. There's some stuff we can't do right now, but we can really still make, like I said, we can still make an impact. We can get in and help the youth in Hawaii, and we're looking at some educational initiatives with the Department of Education, also different schools. My daughter's a school teacher. She's had some ideas that I've shared with our group, and we have some people that are looking at doing that. And already some of our programs are doing reading programs, and just an opportunity to do that. Since there's less time to practice, we have opportunities to still provide and make an incredible impact.
Yeah, let's talk some more about that, you and I, in the weeks coming up. I know we'll be spending more time together, but certainly there are programs in our various colleges. Of course, you've worked very closely with the Dean of the College of Education, Nate, and in that college and other colleges, sociology and others, we have quite a number of programs that go out into the high schools and the grade schools. So there's another point of collaboration we can keep building on. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So several people wrote in and asked, are there other maybe out of the box opportunities for revenue generating? I think we got to laugh at the thought about putting a sponsor's emblem or logo on a jersey. I think you said right away, no, that would be against NCAA rules. But are there other sorts of things out of the box ideas coming forward?
I think that there's no question there's opportunities. Obviously the logo generation is putting a logo on a uniform is an NCAA issue. We can only have so many patches, and the commercialization with the name and image and likeness stuff. There's a lot of dynamics going on with that. But I mean, some people, you see those cutouts, those cutouts at events. That's an opportunity for some, believe it or not, philanthropy, because part of that can be a donation too. So there could be you could probably even gear that. We know that when we come back, it's going to be different. Different means different opportunities too. So we're really looking at our game experience and trying to see how we can reinvent ourselves there. Even post when we get through this virus daily concern, there's going to be other differences. I know that I just blanked on that. It was brilliant what I was going to say, but I obviously forgot it. But I think there's definitely opportunities. We work with our partners, whether they're our broadcast rights holders. IMG, as our corporate partners, is always mining what other people are doing. We have to continue to be creative, and some ideas you have to hold a little close to the vest because you want to be first to do it.
Yeah. We're coming close to the end of our session already. I wanted to give you the opportunity to maybe make some comments or some points that have not been addressed so far in the conversation.
We've talked about the academic success and the community success too. Our student athletes. When I meet with a student athlete or a new recruit, I tell them that and this is with their parents usually too. I say, when you play for the University of Hawaii, it's a different experience than anyone else in the country. You're not just playing for your team, your university, you're playing for the whole state. And I say, that's an incredible opportunity. Personally for you, it's also a big responsibility.
Yeah.
Because people are watching. You have this opportunity to make an impact. And a lot of people think, not people that are watching this and not people in Hawaii, but they think it's mutually exclusive between being the scholar athlete and performing at a high level. They're totally in line. And while we've been having the best academic success we've ever had, at the same token, last year we had our highest Learfield standings in over 10 years. We were 68th out of 351 Division I schools. And we beat a lot of Power 5 schools, including Clemson, who won the national championship that year in football. And we were in the top 10 out of the non-Power 5 schools out of 290.
Wow.
And what's exciting about this year is we were tracking to even beat that. Our football team did great. The Rainbow Wahine went farther in the NCAAs. We had 3 programs this spring that were going to compete for a national championship: men's volleyball, women's water polo, beach volleyball. Our tennis programs were doing well. Our swimming program was arguably poised to have their best NCAAs ever. And academically, that program wins academic awards with being, as well as our men's volleyball program, national academic awards for being in the top, certain percentage. And a lot of our other programs do too. So, I know that being a smart student makes you a smart athlete. And guess what? Smart wins more than it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, we see that all the time, don't we? And I know you're very proud of that academic performance. And I know when I speak to the student athletes and talk to them about their practices and their gains, they want to go right to their degree program. They want to talk about their aspirations when they graduate. They all have big dreams, like they should, and their academics, their courses, and their degrees eventually are the vehicles for achieving those dreams. And
no question.
And you guys, go ahead.
That's the best part about the job. I mean, the impact, the fact that you get to play a part in that with a team of people that are like-minded and care. And frankly, our student athletes, they make us better. I mean, they're a lot farther than I was when I was 18 to 22 years old. I'll just say that. So it's get inspired each and every day. Yeah, me too. And I want to express thanks to your coaches. Your coaches, as you've already said, are in a real sense educators. They're advisors, they're mentors, and so many of our student athletes are first generation students, and for many of them, their coaches are their first points of contact at the university, particularly fall sports, right? They're coming in the summer. They're seeing their coaches before they see their first faculty member or dean or chairperson, whatever. And I think we shouldn't lose sight of that and the important role that your coaches and your staff plays in the education of these students. Yeah, well, our coaches are, a part. I mean, when you look at, our admissions section with, Roxy Shabazz and a lot of the great works being done by those people. Our coaches are also recruiters for the university. That's right. for students. And we have a lot of non-scholarship athletes that choose to come to the University of Hawaii at Manoa for academic pursuits and to play a sport that they have passion for and love. And that partnership with admissions, we're a part of that, and we're mindful of that responsibility. Yeah, we are, and I'm gonna wind this down now, Dave, and I want to do that by speaking directly to all the folks who have joined us. It's been a great conversation. Thank you, and I want to emphasize to the audience that you and I are really thankful not only for the time they've spent today, but for the support that they have given to the UH Athletics program. I want to thank on behalf of all of the faculty and staff, and especially the students, not just the student athletes, all of the students. I want to express our thanks to the donors out there who have already donated to the UH Athletics Initiative. And I want to also express my hope that others will also come forward and help to support this very meaningful, impactful program. Thank you very much. It was great having the opportunity to speak to so many of our supporters, stakeholders of the university, and appreciate the time. Yeah, I've had a good time, Dave. I know I'm going to be seeing you next week when we get together on that committee. So until then, you and everybody on the call, aloha. Aloha, everybody.